What's going on, everybody? It's Black Violin here, and I'm coming at you with yet another video. What this video is going to be about is how you can beat this. I went to the wrong one, of course. Have a good tendency of doing that. How you can beat Agarthan Festival 3 effectively. If you have already played this level or the second level here, you probably noticed that there is a goblin that is toting quite a big bag on his back, as well as a giant crossbow. And he has a buff ability that gives him, I believe it's 80 plus 80 dodge. So he's quite annoying if you can't kill him before he does that buff. So this is what the video is basically going to be about, is how you can take him out even if he does buff. If you're not lucky enough to be able to nuke him before he buffs, there are actually a few monsters that you may have that can help you do this. So to start, Elden here is actually one of the monsters you can use to make sure he does not get, if you're not strong enough to nuke him down in one attack before he uses his buff. Excuse me, you can use Elden for his third skill here, because it's going to have 100% chance to silence them for one turn. So if you were to apply the silence on him before his buff, he will not be able to activate that skill. He will only be able to use his normal attack. Let's see. The water one has this mana arrow skill as well for the silence. And the dark one has it as well. So if you have a fire, water, or dark Elden, you could use their silence ability to make sure that he doesn't get that buff off, and you have at least 2 turns to kill him before he is able to buff. And then you can use Faria here. Now Faria would probably be the better choice, because it's not going to matter if he buffs or not, because she has this ability Incapacitate, which disarms the enemy, removing 2 beneficial effects and reduces their physical attack by 50%. So if he does get the buff off, she's just going to remove it as well as reduce his attack. So she is a very good choice to use. The water one has the skill as well, and I believe light does. And light, so fire, water, and light, Faria can all remove the buff from him. And then you have, if I can find her or him, Dark Nasden does it as well. He has a silence on somebody. I actually didn't look at this guy, I just forgot that he did it. So I'm trying to find which one does it. Okay, so he has a 30% chance to silence with Death's Judgment. You can use him. He's who I actually use. So I think he may be the only one that does Death's Judgment. Okay, so you could use Dark Nasden as well for his silence. And he's also a really good nuke. He's the unit I actually use. I don't have him personally, but I use my friend's rep because he can normally take them out in one turn before they can buff anyways. So I find him really useful. And then you have Karen here. Now Karen is a little tricky and probably not the best to use because she only has a 1% chance to silence or a 1% chance to stun. And so that can stop him. And then she has, let's see which one it is. The light one can actually transform them for one turn. And if they're transformed, they really can't do anything. So that you can use several of these monsters. The dark one has it as well. The transform skill. These are just a few options you could use to beat this level if you're not like strong, if your team's not strong enough to just nuke him before he's able to use his buff. So what I'm going to do is run it real quick and show you what I prefer to do. As you can see, I'm taking a DPS nuker, a healer, a crit strike buffer, and just another AoE nuker. You really don't need this team for it to work, but I just find this is pretty much my best team. So that's just who I normally run. But you don't really need these units. A healer is kind of useful because if these guys crit, especially the annoying dodge goblin, if he crits, he can pretty much one-shot one of your units. Especially if you're not running a tank. So my strategy is actually to target this unit up here. I go for this guy right here first because of my particular strategy. He's just easier for me to deal with initially. And it also, as long as you focus on one side of the board with this team, or with this strategy, the other side, like these four guys over here, are not going to activate and they will just stand there and do nothing. So when it comes to actually getting closer to this area, there's one thing you want to also keep in mind. You do not want to touch these four squares right here, because if you do, it will activate this guy back here. So I try to avoid those two squares, or four squares, I'm sorry. And if you move here, or any of these areas, then it will activate these guys up here. So what I do is I actually take this guy out first, so I don't have to worry about them activating. And I'm literally dealing with just one guy. And now that my Naz is actually close enough, I can bring him up into this top corner and have him AoE these two. And hopefully he kills the bad guy, which he probably didn't because he didn't crit. But even still, I can normally kill him before he becomes more of an annoying threat. But he is going to activate since Nasdin's up there, so he will buff. You see, I'm going to run him up here. And I'm actually going to also keep the Nasdin up here. And I'm going to just keep moving these 3 units towards the right. The reason I'm keeping Nasdin up here is because I can move him back here behind this guy right here. And since I actually don't have my AoE yet, I'm going to leave him there just for the particular moment. Now, as you can see, I'm pretty much making sure I do not activate the other goblin until I'm ready to take him on. So, after I kill this guy, what I'm going to do is, you can actually move Nasdin here, I do believe. But just to be safe, I'm going to move him 1 square shorter. And he will be able to jump down pretty much right on top of this guy. And now that I have my AoE, I'm going to jump down here again. And just AoE him, and hopefully I crit. Okay, I don't know why he dodged threats then. He doesn't even have his dodge buff. So that pretty much was just an unlucky roll on me. But since he's about to go ahead and activate, I might as well go ahead and start killing these other guys. Oops, I didn't mean to do that. I'm not going to use his second skill right now because it is the silence. One downside to killing these guys, the bag goblin here, whatever his name uh, is that their buff actually doesn't run out. It's a 3-turn buff, but it's like a 2-turn cooldown. So I'm gonna wait until his buff is at 1, and then I'm going to try and silence him afterwards. That way, he won't be able to buff on his 3rd turn. also the Sebek's third skill stuns. So that's another thing. I'm waiting for his buff, as it currently is, to be on a 1-turn cooldown. So if he does get stunned or silenced, he will actually lose that buff. Which I did not get the silence. Or the stun, unfortunately for me, because now he's just going to rebuff. But I was lucky enough to actually get the hit off just then. And pretty much after that, you just kind of want to just try to hit him. You don't have to really worry about healing, because his defense is really low, so all you need is just a lucky hit to get through, and he's going to die. But as you can see, this dodge roll or dodge rate is just stupid. It can go several turns. Hopefully I won't run out of turns. So that was just unlucky for me that he did dodge that very first initial attack from my Nastin rep. I got another 6-star gear. HP, defense, jump, action, charge speed, effect resistance. That's a really high physical attack. I actually like this. As well as a good action charge speed. I mean, I wish the physical attack was percent, of course, but 234, that's really high. I'm actually, well, I don't have anything to gear it up, so I'm not going to put it on right now, but I will definitely be using that on my Sebek because I do run him as a bruiser. I just got a ring from doing this as well that was 6-star. This is actually my second 6-star accessory, so I'm really happy for that. But I'm just going to run this last run again to pretty much hopefully have it play out better. And you can see how I like I said, how I just kind of nuke them instead of trying to silence them or anything like that. I mean, I think the only reason this strategy actually really works for me is because I kind of have learned where I'm able to move and not able to move without them activating. So that's kind of beneficial, I think. I keep hitting the wrong thing. I don't know why. And then I miss Naz. Oh well. The reason I actually take the water horse as well is mainly for that crit buff, because this Naz rep has a really good crit rate from what I've seen already. But any buff to it as well is going to make sure that he does have a good chance of critting. And if I can just crit kill this first or second guy automatically, then of course I'm doing a lot better, because it makes these runs a lot shorter. Okay, I don't know why it did that. And there goes the crit kill on both of them. So that made it a lot easier. Because now I only have to worry about one guy up there. And I still haven't activated these other 4 guys. As you see, I'm kind of avoiding those 4 squares there. No, do not move there, fairy. What are you doing? So for this run, I'm going to go ahead and try to move here because, like I said, I'm pretty sure that's still a safe area without this guy back here activating. And because I'm pretty sure I was able to nuke both of these guys when I first tried this strategy. So that is what I'm going to do again. And I'm gonna just go ahead and heal, just for the heck of it, pretty much. Oh, he did activate. That's not good. Okay, so Nasdin can move here without the guy activating. And he will still be able to AoE him. You just need to make sure you have the AoE ready, of course. So that is something to note. So we're going to pray that we can just still go ahead uh, and move. Why can I not target? So this is making no sense because I'm not able to target certain areas now. And I just literally did this a second ago. I don't see why that one square would make a difference. Okay, whatever. So do not move Nasdin to this square because apparently he's not going to be able to AoE. It's turning out to be a wonderful tutorial. First was a failed dodge roll run, and now I can't even AoE as I was trying to do. And if they do activate it, it's better to just go ahead and get rid of them. Wow, I cannot move forward at all. That is crazy. So that really threw off, like seriously has thrown me off, because now my Nasdaq is backtracking, and that is definitely not what I want to be doing in this level. And I just happen to look up and get 3 hits on that guy in a row. But that is a somewhat strategy for how you can defeat this guy. I'm actually going to run it one more time because I did not really like that that last run at all. I didn't plan on rerunning these because it's just a lot of mandolins, and I try to use my mandolins kind of efficiently. So I watch how many of these crazy event runs I do, because sometimes you can get good loot and then sometimes you can't, or you just don't get uh, the item or the hero that you want from them. So I really don't go crazy on doing these things. So I actually think if I move here, I'll be able to get a little bit closer on the jump to the roof. But we shall see. Okay, I don't know what's going on with my phone. I don't know if you'll be able to see these little blue flashes, but they are quite annoying. I don't know why my phone decides to do that. It's super annoying. So we're gonna buff Ness. Alright, I'm gonna pause it real quick right here and see what the heck's going on with my phone. So give me just 1 second. I have been having some technical issues lately when I'm trying to make videos. It's so awesome. So 1 second and let's. Alright guys, I'm back. Hopefully I got rid of the little blue flashy crap that was going on. It doesn't look like I'm able to move any closer to this guy. I'm not really sure if I were to move like here or anywhere on this line. Right here, or right here. if he would activate. I haven't really tried. I've always just jumped up here and tried to take him out as fast as I can. And got the crit. So, again, he's just one idiot I don't have to really worry about. Because that dodge is really annoying. That's why I do use the crit buff. Because I really want to make sure that he is critting and therefore killing that guy with his first attack on him. Alright, so switch to the overview. And then we can hopefully crit kill this guy as well without a crit buff. And he did. So that is actually a perfect run for me now, because now I don't have to worry about all the craziness. And the cleanup afterwards is pretty easy. But that is how I have been going about doing this level. Pretty much just using Nasdin to nuke them. I'm pretty sure like there's other strategies. As I said, you could use the Farius to remove the buff whenever he buffs. You could try to run a silence team if you have Eldens or a Dark Nasdin or Karens even. Even though running a Karen's really not going to be the best option because it's only a 1%. But if you have a Dark Karen, she does have the transformation ability. So that can also be quite useful. But there you go, guys. That is my strategy on how to beat Agarthan, whatever this place is called. Stage 3. It's not a bad... Was that HP percent? Yeah, that's not too bad. HP percent is definitely worthwhile. Could possibly go on my fairy. I'm not really sure. But that's my strategy. So I hope it helps you out and gives you some ideas on how you can easily clear this level. If you're not able to nuke it, then like I said, use Faria, Karen, the Eldens. There's several heroes that you can use to do this, and it will help a lot. So thank you for watching. Please subscribe to my channel. Hit the like button and leave a comment. If you leave a comment, I will reply to your comment as soon as I possibly can. And thank you once again, and I shall see you in the next video.